Imagine paying $10,000, $20,000, or even hundreds of thousands of dollars for a watch. Not a smartphone, not a car, not a house, just a watch that tells the time. To many people, it sounds unbelievable. After all, almost any watch can tell you what time it is. So why would millions of people around the world dream of owning a Rolex? What makes it so special? And why is it one of the most recognizable luxury brands on earth? The story begins more than a century ago. In 1905, a young entrepreneur named Hans Wilsdorf founded a small watch company in London. At the time, wristwatches were considered unreliable. Most people preferred pocket watches because they were believed to be more accurate. But Wilsdorf saw the future differently. He believed wristwatches could become both elegant and incredibly precise. His mission was simple: build the most reliable wristwatch the world had ever seen. In 1910, Rolex achieved a remarkable milestone. It became one of the first wristwatch manufacturers to receive an official chronometer certification for precision. This wasn't just marketing, it was proof that Rolex watches met exceptionally high standards of accuracy. Then, in 1926, Rolex introduced another revolutionary innovation: the Oyster. It was the world's first commercially successful waterproof wristwatch. Dust couldn't get in, water couldn't get in, and for the first time, people could wear a luxury watch almost anywhere. To prove it worked, Rolex gave an Oyster watch to British swimmer Mercedes Gleitz as she attempted to swim across the English Channel. After hours in freezing water, the watch continued running perfectly. The story made headlines around the world. Suddenly, Rolex wasn't just another watchmaker. It became a symbol of reliability, innovation, and engineering excellence. But creating an accurate waterproof watch was only the beginning. Over the next century, Rolex would build something even more valuable than precision. It would build one of the strongest luxury reputations in history. And that reputation would become the foundation of a company whose watches are now desired across every continent. By the middle of the 20th century, Rolex had already earned a reputation for making some of the world's most reliable watches. But reliability alone doesn't explain why a Rolex costs so much today. The real secret lies in how each watch is made. Unlike many manufacturers that outsource large portions of production, Rolex controls almost every step of the manufacturing process. From designing movements, to casting precious metals, to assembling and testing each watch, everything is held to incredibly strict standards. Rolex even operates its own foundry. Few luxury brands do this. Instead of buying gold from outside suppliers, Rolex produces its own 18-karat yellow, white, and Everose gold. This allows the company to maintain complete control over color, purity, and long-term durability. The steel is just as special. Many Rolex watches use 904L stainless steel, now known within the company as Oyster steel. This alloy is significantly more resistant to corrosion than the steel commonly used in most watches. It's harder to machine, more difficult to polish, but it creates the brilliant finish Rolex is famous for. Then comes the movement, the tiny mechanical engine inside every watch. A single Rolex movement contains hundreds of precision components working together in perfect harmony. Some parts are measured in microns, thinner than a human hair. Every gear, every spring, every jewel, must function flawlessly. Even after assembly, the testing isn't over. Each completed watch undergoes extensive quality control for accuracy, water resistance, power reserve, and durability. Only after passing every test does it earn the Rolex name. And despite using advanced robotics for consistency, many of the most delicate tasks are still performed by highly trained watchmakers. Polishing, assembly, inspection, final adjustments. These require years of experience and exceptional attention to detail. That's why producing a single Rolex isn't a matter of hours. It's the result of countless manufacturing steps, rigorous testing, and decades of engineering expertise. But craftsmanship is only part of the story. Because if quality alone determined price, many other luxury watches would cost exactly the same. So why does Rolex continue to dominate the luxury watch market? The answer has less to do with manufacturing, And everything to do with one powerful word: exclusivity. Rolex doesn't produce the rarest watches in the world, nor does it make the most complicated movements. Yet somehow, it has become the most desired luxury watch brand on the planet. The reason is simple: Rolex has mastered something far more valuable than manufacturing. It has mastered demand. Unlike many brands that try to sell as many watches as possible, Rolex carefully controls supply. Walk into an authorized Rolex boutique today, and you may discover that the watch you want isn't available. Not tomorrow, not next week, sometimes, not even next year. Popular models like the Submariner, Daytona, and GMT Master 2 often have waiting lists that stretch for months, or even years. This scarcity creates an extraordinary effect. The harder a Rolex is to buy, the more people want one. As demand continues to exceed supply, prices on the secondary market often rise far above the official retail price. In some cases, buyers are willing to pay thousands, or even tens of thousands, more just to avoid waiting. For many people, a Rolex is no longer simply a watch. It has become an investment. Unlike most luxury products, which lose value the moment they're purchased, certain Rolex models have historically maintained, or even increased, their value over time. Collectors around the world search for rare references, limited production years, unique dial variations, and vintage models. Some vintage Rolex watches have sold for millions of dollars at international auctions. That kind of performance has strengthened the brand's reputation even further. But Rolex doesn't rely only on scarcity. It has spent decades building an image of success. From mountain expeditions, to deep-sea exploration, to Formula One, Grand Slam tennis, golf championships, and the Oscars, Rolex has consistently associated its name with excellence and achievement. The brand rarely shouts. It doesn't chase trends. Instead, it quietly reinforces one message: owning a Rolex means you've reached a certain level of success. Whether that's entirely true or not doesn't matter. Because in luxury, perception is often just as powerful as reality. And Rolex has spent more than a century perfecting that perception. But maintaining prestige for over 100 years isn't easy. So how has Rolex remained at the top while countless luxury brands have come and gone? That answer lies in the philosophy that has guided the company from the very beginning. For more than a century, Rolex has followed a philosophy that almost never changes. It doesn't release dozens of new models every year. It doesn't chase short-term trends. And it rarely makes dramatic changes to its most iconic designs. At first glance, a modern Rolex may look remarkably similar to one made decades ago. But that's exactly the point. Rolex believes true luxury should be timeless. Instead of constantly reinventing itself, the company focuses on refining every detail. A slightly stronger movement, a more durable bracelet, a better clasp, a more scratch-resistant bezel. Small improvements, made consistently over decades. This commitment to perfection has earned Rolex something priceless: trust. Millions of people know that when they buy a Rolex, they're purchasing a watch designed to last not just years, but generations. Many Rolex owners pass their watches down to their children and grandchildren. In many families, a Rolex isn't just a luxury item. It's a family heirloom, a symbol of achievement, a reminder of important milestones. Of course, Rolex isn't the only luxury watchmaker in the world. Brands like Patek Philippe, Audemars Piguet, Omega, and Vacheron Constantin produce extraordinary timepieces with remarkable craftsmanship. Yet Rolex occupies a unique position. It has become the universal symbol of luxury watches. Even people who know very little about horology recognize the Rolex crown. That level of global recognition is incredibly rare. So, why is Rolex so expensive? Is it the gold, the precision engineering, the craftsmanship, the limited availability, the history, the prestige? The answer is all of them. A Rolex isn't expensive because it simply tells the time. It's expensive because it represents more than time. It represents engineering, tradition, exclusivity, success, and one of the strongest luxury brands ever created. Whether you see it as a masterpiece of watchmaking, a status symbol, or a long-term investment, one thing is undeniable: Rolex has spent over a century turning a simple wristwatch into a global icon. And that's why, for millions of people around the world, a Rolex is worth far more than the time it keeps. Thanks for watching Hermosa Explained. If you enjoyed this documentary, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more videos exploring the world's greatest luxury brands, mega projects, businesses, and fascinating places. See you in the next episode.